second here. I gotta go to my YouTube now and find the channel. It'll start playing here. I don't really give a rat's ass.
While he does that, how's everybody doing today? We're coming at you live.
That's right.
This is my good buddy, my good buddy, Josh Pants.
That's right. I'm causing all kinds of chaos and mayhem, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to find the link to the where I can find the link to the. Okay, where are you?
So, are we live on Facebook as well, or is this just YouTube?
This is just gonna be YouTube.
Okay, cool.
I'm not. I'm setting up right now for the.
So are we live on Facebook as well, or is this just YouTube?
Okay. There we go. I copied the link. Here's the actual link to the thing. I'm sending it to you right now.
Okay.
So we are going live, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm not. Like I said, I'm getting ready to go in a talk show mode here.
Where are you sending the links to? Because I'm not seeing them.
No, I'm on StreamYard itself. Hold on a second here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there we go. I just posted. You're going to be tagged to it, so you'll see the actual link.
Perfect.
We'll give it a second.
There we are.
Yes. There we go.
Okay.
There you go. That's right. This is me working all the bugs out as I get ready to turn my podcast into a full-fledged talk show.
Very cool. And how excited are you for that, to kind of take this next step in your journey?
I kicked myself because it took me 6 months to realize that this should have been the next step in the journey. I kicked myself so hard. Right?
I totally get that.
Yeah. But it's the right look. I made a decision literally, actually, yeah, holy shit. Literally almost a year to the day, I made a decision that I was going to leave my comfort zone completely behind. I just decided that, you know what? Fuck it. Up, down, left, right. Wherever this goes, I'm going to spend the rest of my life living the life I want, the dream I want. And the big dream I have is ultimately going to take what I'm doing here, riding this out, going to travel the country and the world, meeting amazing people and hearing their story. I think from just a truly arrogant perspective, I do interviews very well, like very, very well. And I feel like I could.
I don't think that's arrogant. I think that's a bullshit statement to say that that's arrogant.
Well, some people would say it's arrogant. Some people would.
No, I think it's arrogant if you said you're the best.
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet. We're getting there.
Now you're swimming toward arrogant.
You gotta have that confidence, though. You have to. Yeah. You have to have it. If you don't, what the hell are you doing, right?
Well, and that's the thing, is that like what we're doing right here, right now, is like if you really think about it, we're both small press. We don't have huge audiences, but that doesn't mean that you don't act like you don't have a huge audience. It doesn't mean that you get to kind of wallow and sit until you make it or until you get there. You got to push, and you've got to get yourself there. Right. And so that confidence is what will help get us there.
Yeah, well, you got to believe you're a champion. If you and that's what you got to like. You got to believe you are the fucking man or woman, as the case may be, right? You got to believe it, because if you don't, no one's going to follow you, not even a little bit. That's just how life works. So I learned 3 amazing things about being a freelancer. Here's the first thing: the price you set equals respect. It's a strange thing I've learned, but it's the truth. The price you set equals respect. It draws the kind of people you want to work for you. If you go on, if you price yourself on the cheap, you tend to work with cheap shits. If you price yourself what you feel you're actually worth, you will get what you're actually worth. And that's a very important lesson. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, own your niche. When you realize what you have in front of you, that one.
That's the one.
Because I think the hardest thing as a freelancer you come to realize is, okay, part of it is I do so many different things. I write, I podcast, do a lot of different things. So I have a lot of different skills. But I'm like, well, what are my goals? You have to have a focus somewhere. So going back to like talking off the air, the talk show thing, I realized like my ultimate goal was to get to the point where I'm just doing interviews for people and making a living doing that. That's what I want to do. So why not just do it? And it's just like, it is like that leap. It took a second for me to make it. Yeah.
No, I get it, because let's be honest. About almost a year ago, I lost my job. I was working part-time as a writer-editor and then part-time as a cook. And I lost, and cooking, I'm a very good cook. I know what I'm doing in that industry. I've been in that industry for a long time, but fuck, I hate the restaurant industry. I hate it so much. And I got fired from a job in like the stupidest, worst way possible. And rather than getting depressed about it, instead I went, no, you know what? Fuck it. This is the push. I got pushed out of a plane, and now I got to go and I got to do what I got to do.
That's right.
So
now you're the Waldo of Comics. Like you're everywhere.
You're everywhere. That's it. Well, right? And it's funny. You were talking about goals.
Yeah.
And so when we came into this, campaign, I had two goals. I had a backer goal and a financial goal. And when I told people what those goals were, they were like, ooh, that's way above where you were. And I was like, I know, but I also know we can hit them. Mm-hmm. And they were like, okay, all right, well, I hope you do. And just so we're aware, those goals are 200 backers. We're at 225. So I was not wrong there.
No, you're right. No, not even close.
Right?
Yeah, not even close. I'm, by the way, congratulations. Well earned. Thank you. Well deserved.
Thank you.
What was your other goal? What was your financial one?
The financial goal, we're not quite there yet. My financial goal was to break 5K. And we're at $4,870 with 4 days left to go.
I think so. My gut tells me you're gonna do it. Like I did.
Yeah.
My gut tells me you're gonna do it. Like I think that's pretty realistic. So I'm gonna be doing something similar. Like my next novel is going to be my first Kickstarter novel, because I realized that. Okay, so I'm not gonna name names. I had the opportunity to have I had to let someone go as a client because they put me in a position where I couldn't really help them the way to the best of my abilities. And they were reliant on the fact that they already had an established audience to do what they were going to do on their own campaign. That's great. But you hired me because I know people like yourself and other people that do Kickstarter, and I can cross-pollinate and actually meet you. Because the one thing you want to do with every campaign you do is you want to basically expand your audience. You don't want just the audience that brought you to where, like, you don't. I value the audience I have, what audience I do have. I don't want that audience to be the one I constantly go to over and over and over and over and over again, because sooner or later, that's going to exhaust. As I expand my audience, right, I'm not going to the same people. And that's what you should be doing with your Kickstarter. Hi, Mr. Dog. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. You can have barking on the podcast. This is the cool thing.
No, I know whenever we're just about to put him outside, he starts to bark a fair amount. So I was like, all right, Josh has this for a sec. I'm just gonna go mute. He'll get put outside, and we're good.
Yeah, that's all good. So what I real like, again, you want to expand your audience, and I didn't have the information to do that, so I had to let them go. They made their goal, but I will be shocked if they make their goal again. Not because I don't think they can't get their project isn't worth what they aspire it to be worth, but you have to look at this from the growth of an audience. You're trying to grow. It's not just about this project. It's about the next project and the one after and the one after. I look at what Russell Nohelty does. I look at what Ed Willett did with his anthology. I look at what Mark Leslie, and I look at people like yourself and Ramil Hill. You guys have built like your own little cultures, and you're slowly taking over your little corners of the universe. So I mean, and it's cool. I actually think you guys are going to be surviving, because I'm looking at the comic industry in terms of the traditional comic book. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Right? But I'm looking at that, and I'm seeing it, and I'm going, that it's doomed, because it's closed off. It's too closed off. What you're doing is actually, I think, going to last in the long term. Now, I hate to say that because I love comic book stores, but I'm looking at kind of how things are going, and I'm like, I think Diamond needs to die. And I don't want to say that in like a bad way. I think that, all right. I don't want my people in the industry to go be out of work, but I think it's bottleneck things way too much. And Kickstarter has been the get out of jail free card for the majority, or Indiegogo, or wherever your niche is. It's a get out of jail free card, because you don't have to play by the rules. You can find your little niches, and you can make a good living doing what you're doing.
I don't think you're necessarily wrong, though. I will say that one of the things a lot of us who are doing fairly well right now are pushing in the Kickstarters and all that kind of stuff is we all have retail tiers. And so we're trying to get to the stores, and more and more it's happening. I'm seeing more and more indies get in there. I'm seeing more people get in there. So, when you talk about Diamond, I get that.
Yeah. No, because I honestly, I love comic stores. I love them very much.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at their current business model, and I think the distribution chokes them off, and where they should be a bigger. Comics should be a much bigger market than it actually is, and it kills me because people. I don't know of anybody other than maybe that really stuck up literary student in university, and even then, I think they're lying. That doesn't like a comic of some kind, right?
I've been saying this time and time again. We are taught that comic books are a lower standard of literature. We're taught, and that's pushed time and time again. Dude, is that a Tim Hortons cup in your hand?
Damn right.
I fucking love you right now, buddy. I love you so much. I don't even like their coffee, but I just miss home.
No. Between you and me, I don't like their coffee either, but I'm in Windsor, Ontario. I don't know where the fucking second cup is in town. Like I'm in Windsor, Ontario. I'm not in Vancouver. I'm not in the Calgary anymore. I'm in Windsor. And by the way, I'm not knocking Windsor. I think Windsor's a great place. But let's be honest. It's not Calgary. It's not Vancouver.
Windsor is Canada's Detroit. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, it's far less violent. It's far less violent.
Well, that's why it's Canada's Detroit.
Yeah, it's far less violent. I'm going to make an argument for you that might. It sounds sad, but I think it's actually more accurate. I think Winnipeg is Canada's Detroit.
I don't know Winnipeg as well.
Winnipeg is very So the most depressing two places I've ever been to. I'm sorry, friends in Winnipeg, you're going to hate me for this. But I got to be honest here. Are London, Ontario. Right, London. Yeah, he's laughing because he knows why. He knows why. Right? He knows why. And the other one is Winnipeg.
Okay, I'll make London. You're not all that off. Like honestly,
no, I'm not.
You're really not that far off. Have you ever been to North Bay?
Yes.
So I remember going to North Bay. My mom lives there, and she was trying to sell us on moving to North Bay, which was already a hard sell. I was moving away from all my friends, and they've got, they're further up north. They're further away from everything. I lived in the country, but I lived within an hour of Toronto and an hour of Barrie, and I lived kind of, I could reach.
That's actually good. That's decent accents. You're away from, Toronto's insane, but you're far enough away where it doesn't kill you. And Yep, and and you do business in Toronto. It makes I get that. Yeah, that's a great deal. Right?
So I liked that. But North Bay, if you move up to North Bay, all you fucking have is North Bay. And so she's trying to sell me on that, and I'm like, okay, cool. What's going on? She's like, why don't you just take a walk down the main strip, and then you'll see the bay, and you'll see the water, and you'll see all the stores. And I'm like, okay. And I'm walking. And this was in the middle of summer, and there was all this kind of stuff all over the ground. And I'm like, is that like hair? Like, is there like a barber here or something? And my friend was like, no, it's crunchy. And I'm like, what the fuck? It was shad fly season, and I guess all of their all of their shells come off, and so it looked like hair all over the fucking street, and it was disgusting. And I was like, okay, whatever. Everyone's got their weird thing.
That's okay. Strike. It's a strike. Let's be honest.
Strike one.
Yeah,
but it wasn't a big strike.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking down, and there was a fair amount of closed down buildings. And at one point, I walk in. I'm like, hey, they got a comic shop right around the corner. So we walk over to the comic shop because I looked it up ahead of time. I walked up to check it out, and it said we've moved across the street. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I looked across the street to go over there, and it said out of business. I'm like, what the fuck? You moved. Nobody knew went in there. You went across the street, and then that went out of business. Wow. Nope. And you know what? I didn't even need a third strike.
No, that's it.
I was like, you can't even hold down a business. You can't get new businesses to come in. No.
Okay, so here's London for me. Last time I grew up there. I grew up there during my high school years.
Okay.
Okay, so there are some things I still like. Okay, so one of the things I still miss every once in a while, is a place called Fast A's. It's like the poor man's McDonald's, but I grew up with it. It's like it's a childhood thing, one of those weird childhood things. Comic shop is amazing there. LA Mood is a great comic shop. It's fantastic. I'm really happy that they're getting a bigger building now. It's great. This is what I notice every time I go back to London. I'll see these really nice buildings, and then surrounded by complete poverty. It doesn't look at it from up close and personal, but if you go around it at all in any way, shape, or form, you just recognize there's not very much here. You just realize it. And then as I'm waiting to go between towns, yeah, Windsor does have a great beer. Like the Walkerville Brewery is awesome. It really, really, really is, right? But craft beers, awesome stuff. But so the thing about London was, the thing about London was, I was in between waiting for my ride into Windsor, and I had my choices between Tim Hortons, which closed at 8 p.m., which is very weird to me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, right. It's very weird. A bar, a strip club, and that was it. And I was like,
what do you think the coffee's like at the fucking stripper?
Yeah.
Hey, you walk into the Peelers, it's just like, can I get a coffee? You need to get the fuck out, sir.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, I guess. So I ended up going to the bar. I got hit on by this gay guy for a few hours. It was like, one of those, like, you're just there and you're just waiting you're just killing time. It's all you're trying to do. You're like, God damn, what the hell? Why the hell did I miss this city so much? Because you just like, I've done so many things. I've done so many things since like it. I cannot and I don't mean this, and like I really don't. This isn't. It should play. Home is home. But after seeing as much as I've seen and traveled as much as I have, right? It's just when I go to a city like that, it's like, that's depressing. It's just very depressing to be there for an extended period of time, because you just see what isn't there, and you just know what isn't there that should be there. And you're like, why? This is why people get in trouble in places like this. Things like there. Right? And that's the truth. So when I go to Winnipeg, being like the Detroit thing, was it's the poverty, because like you can see like the really bad areas are really bad. And Windsor, although is not a rich city, it's Detroit, like in the sense the center is rotten and everything else around it is healthy, right? That's very Detroit. That is very Detroit. That is very much a model of, and I realize this because I've been trying to do like a part-time job gig thing here, and it's funny, I can get full-time jobs. I don't want a full-time job right now because I'm trying to do this.
Yeah.
But a weekend gig would make me like, I'd be okay with that, right? On a weekend gig, just for some extra income. holy crap, they're in Lakeshore, Tecumseh, or LaSalle, or Old, but Windsor, and much like Detroit, there is no transit. But Winnipeg, it's cold, like minus 40 cold, right? Without Calgary's mountain Chinooks, right?
Yeah.
Calgary's cold, but they do get Chinooks, and it's poor. Like it like you can see, like, again, you go, you know this as well as I do. You go to enough cities, you can see poverty a mile away in many little ways.
Yeah,
because you've just seen it. Like, you've just seen so much of it that it's like, okay, you're trying to hide it, but I see it and I can't unsee it now. I know what's here.
Yeah,
and that's it. I'm polite about it because I don't. Again, it's not my place to just condemn. So, again, it is what it is. I'm not here trying to tell you how to live, but I know, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what it is. Winnipeg is probably the closest thing, I think. I haven't been to Montreal. I haven't been to Quebec City. I haven't been to anything east of, say, Kingston. So I can't comment on anything east. But west of North Bay, I have been there. Yeah, no, you couldn't. You couldn't.
Quebec City's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal's fucking Partyville, like, just a fun town. But Montreal is like New Orleans or Vegas for Canada. Really just such a fun fucking city.
I made myself a promise. I'd go, like, when pandemic's over, I'm gonna try to find Sylvain Nouvel lives there. I'm gonna go get drunk with him and do bad karaoke, make that a podcast. I want to do it.
Dude.
Yeah. I want to do it.
So much fun. And Ottawa is actually a really great city too.
No, I was Ottawa. Okay, I've been to Ottawa. Ottawa is actually really cool. I think the cool thing about Ottawa, it's old enough that it's got really cool history there, and you can really, really dig it. It's expensive to go out there in comparison to the rest of Canada. That's the only knock I have to it is it's expensive to go out, but it's not actually bad to live there, which I actually thought was an interesting dynamic there.
Yeah. Ottawa's funny because Ottawa is basically a small town that suddenly was told, by the way, you're the capital of the country. And they went, wait, what? Like, yeah, you're going to be the capital of the country now. They're like, shit, we should put some nice stuff here. And so you have, like, beautiful old architecture and all this gorgeous stuff in the center of the city. And then the more and more out from the center you get, it gets really fucking hick, and it's hilarious. And the dichotomy of that is just great.
So the last time I was there, I was there for CanCon. I ended up because just again, I'm a tourist, not in the traditional sense. I actually want to see the city. I walked the city just because I wanted to see what it felt like. And as I went closer and closer to the airport, the more and more, right? The more and more it went from a nice big city, cool history, to town, good town, but like a town, to wow. And it's all in the same city. It's all I didn't see Gatineau. So I can't really say anything there. But
Gatineau's great.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't see whole Gatineau, but I mean, it's just the Ottawa side of it. It was like city, town.
So Gatineau's great. Hull is dirty.
Okay.
Hull is dirty because basically what Hull is, and sorry for all of those, we're totally fucking geeking out on Canada right now. We apologize. But Hull is hilarious because you have Ottawa, and then when you go over the Quebec side, and literally it's a quick walk or going over the bridge or whatever. As soon as you go over that bridge, the legal drinking age goes from 19 to 18. And so what you end up with in Hull is an awful lot of kids trying to get fucking wasted. And the other thing is that Ontario is very strict about its liquor. We have a thing called the LCBO, the Liquor Consumption Board of Ontario, and that is the only store that you can get liquor at. And if you want beer, they have a store called the Beer Store. That's the only store you can get beer at. Now, I think they've changed that, or they're changing it
slightly. Like, okay, so like again, I just mentioned this. Like Eric mentioned, like Windsor has their favorite beer store of all of them. There's the Walkerville Brewery will let you buy beer straight there.
Yeah, so you can buy at a brewery, and I think they've been talking about slowly introducing beer to grocery stores. I believe.
Yes. Well, actually, because the moment they do that, beer stores go out of business. That's why they've been so very slow to introduce it. Because the moment that happens, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's strange. Beer stores will still have their place, but their busy hours will then between 10 p.m. to like 3 o'clock in the morning, when various nefarious characters will come out for like, you know, their stuff. That's what you'll get at that point.
Yeah. But in Hull is more like America, because the legal age is 18, which is not like America, but you can get beer or liquor anywhere, at the gas station, where fucking ever. And so that's the difference, is like the 16-year-olds are going to go there and they're going to get wasted. And so it's just very trashy. So it's pretty hilarious.
Next time I go to Ottawa, I'll definitely check that out. I'll go all just for shit. So it's like,
it's brutal, because when, you know, I was in my early 20s when I lived in Ottawa. And so one of my buddies is like, we got to go to Hull. And I'm like, why? And he's like, just because you got to go, you got to see. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like 20 at the time, like literally 20 years old. We go there, and there's basically a bunch of like 16, 17, 18-year-old girls at the club, and then a bunch of like 30-year-old guys who cannot get real girls closer to their age, who are all trying to pick up chicks. And it's just like, oh, this is wrong. It's brutal. Yeah.
No, I'm old enough now that I look at an 18, 19, 20-year-old and like, and I can still in my head say, okay, that's cute, but I'm also like, I'm old enough to be their dad. That actually comes in my head a little bit now, right? I'm not, like I said, I'm certainly human, but it's like, I'm not gonna just jump, you know, into that pond, right?
There's this age where you go, I kind of have to look at MILF porn or else I feel dirty. You know what I mean? Like, I have to move on to the MILF or else I'm just wrong.
It's just, I feel like there's a point when they're still kids. Even though they're adults, they're still there.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
And that's the thing, right? You want like
a woman.
There's a certain age. Like I think once everybody, and this might be, then people say I'm wrong on this, but I think once you're over 25, 26, when you've made, like, you're an adult and you can make your own decisions and you're ready to go, whatever, man, do whatever you're gonna do. But there's especially like 18, 19, 20, like yeah, you're an adult, yeah, and they're really, but you're still trying to figure your shit out. And anybody that's my age, no.
Nah.
No. Anybody that's my age, it's like, nah. No. Like I said, that, and you know, that's pretty much it. Like I'm sure there's a mature 18-year-old somewhere, but I sure as hell haven't.
I haven't met him.
Yeah, nor have I. I sure as hell haven't. So it's one of those things where you're just like, no. I mean,
not only have I not met them, I wasn't one. So
no, I wasn't either. I like,
that's not a knock on 18-year-olds now aren't mature. No, they fucking never were. They never were. No. Not when I was that age, not now, and probably not 18 years from now. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, there are kids that like had more shit more together than I did. I'm like, awesome, great, you figured it out.
Good for you, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. But the thing about it is, like, straight up, man. There's a point on that where you're just like, you know what, seriously, yeah, go watch porn. That's the more adult thing to do. Dear God, I justified porn. This is life.
We get to that age, and hey, I'm selling a hell book, so I'm already headed there anyways. At least partially.
So I have a theory about metal, guys, because I'm also like, okay, here's my choices of metal. Let's see if you agree or disagree with my choices of metal.
Okay.
Amon Amarth.
Oh, okay. I'm interested. I'm listening. Wow.
Yeah, Amon Amarth.
You started off really strong.
Yes. Nightwish.
Okay. So symphonic metal.
I want to be blunt. Like I tend to go between Viking death metal and symphonic, like classical style metal. That's me. That's where I kind of fit in the metal scheme.
Are you an Opeth guy?
What?
Opeth?
Yeah, I'll listen to them. I'll listen to them. Yeah. So I've considered Disturbed pop metal. That's what I consider Disturbed. I got approval there. I got.
Yep. No, that's. I would agree. Yeah,
that's pop metal. And if I look at classic stuff, okay, Man of War will always make me smile until the day I die. Man of War will always make me smile. Right. It's just hair metal. To like they make no apologies for who they are, and I don't know of a single person that listens to metal that can at least listen to one song. Now maybe not two, but one song, they're grinning. Say, okay, yeah, right. Two, but yeah.
You can enjoy. Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah, I've seen them on Marth live. They're awesome.
They are. I've seen them live too, and they were really good. And I hadn't gotten into them yet. Scott Ian from Anthrax likes to call himself. He says that everybody calls him Grandpa Metal, and the reason for that is he says it takes me a long time to get into new things. And so I'm really, I like what I like, and I'm not excited to learn new things in metal. And I'm kind of the same way, where it takes me a long time to get on board with things. And so I was way behind on Amon Amarth. There was a bunch of bands I was way behind on.
I still am. I'm not cool.
I saw them live, and I was like, oh, okay. You forced my hand. They're good.
We actually shook the building. Like we were.
I believe it.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. We almost rioted. We actually went past their encore. They literally had to come out because we were still going. Yeah, it's like they looked at them. If we don't play, they might riot, and we'll probably join them. I mean, I like Epica. I like Taria. I think Taria is really, really good.
I don't know them.
Epica is kind of like brain. I call them like brain metal because they have the holographic theory. They're in the symphonic. Like again, I like symphony metals a little bit more than the Screaming Rage. Although I do El2 Vitae and I do a few other ones like that as well.
I'm a rager.
I tend to be more on the symphonic side. So Taria used to be the singer of Nightwish. She does her own stuff. She's really, really good. She's really, really, really good. Epica is in that realm. Blind Guardian makes me smile simply because it does all the fantasy references. I love their stuff. Yeah. They did a Wheel of Time song. I'm in. Like I'm totally. Right. Hey, I'm honest. I am a nerd at heart, and so are they.
I like it. I'm a fan. I like that. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a nerd at heart. I love that. So I mean, it's one of those things. Like, no, I know most people look at me. It's like you're a metalhead. It's like, oh yeah, I'll be the guy in the mosh pit. I don't care. I'm 40. I'll fight dirty at this point. But I mean, I'll still be there.
I'm at the point where I'm on the outside of the mosh pit. I'm gonna hold the pit together.
Yeah. No, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I still enjoy it because there is something about the physicality of the pit, but also there's a very interesting. It's a really cool code of honor. It's a really, really cool that's in the pit. You
fall down and 6 hands are lifting you back up again.
Yeah, exactly. No, they don't. No one. It's funny. It's also the only place in history I've ever been hit in the head with a wheelchair. Right. Amon Amarth concert. It's actually at the Amon Amarth concert. I feel this wheel in the back of my head. They're crouch surfing someone in a wheelchair all the way to the front.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, good. I was like, who the fuck beat you with a wheelchair?
Oh no.
That's neat.
Yeah. No, that's really cool, right? You don't see that anywhere else, right?
I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, even that possibility, like you won't punk shows, nah. Rock concerts, certain bands, maybe, but not every band. Metal shows, sure, you'll see it. Right, that's the cool thing about metal. Metal is very much it is the community music. It is literally I don't know of any other thing I could actually say about metal other. It is the community.
It's funny because so many people call metalheads dumb, And a lot of us, a lot of metalheads kind of have the meathead look.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was watching Shadows Fall and A7X, Avenged Sevenfold. And this is when Avenged Sevenfold was like still a lot more screamo. And they were there. We're in this small club and standing next to these two big, meaty, meathead dudes. And one of them looks, and I'm a big guy myself, but I got the glasses. I kind of have the nerdish look, so to speak. I didn't look too metal. And he goes, "What are you here for?" And I was, we started to have our conversation. Of course, I had, whenever you go to a metal show, you do not wear the band that's there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because you're a poser. You have to wear another band so someone can go, "Oh, you like them too. Cool." So I think I was wearing a Megadeth shirt. So I'm a big Megadeth fan. And he's like, "Okay, cool. You're a Megadeth fan." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What do you like?" And so went through a couple things. I had to prove my resume, so to speak. And so we're just kind of chatting here and there. And I'm like, "What, dude? What are you here for? What do you love?" And he's like, "Honestly, man, this is just cathartic as fuck." And I was like, "Wow, they call us stupid, but no other, like, you're not going to go to a punk show, or sorry, like a pop show, and they're going to be like, this is very cathartic. I'm really enjoying this." I'm like, no, you're not going to hear the word, you're not going to hear catharsis at a fucking pop show.
Okay, so here's this will probably knock my coolness down a little bit. I'm a big fan of lights, like the musician lights. I went to a show.
Okay.
Right. I went to a show. I was dancing like I would at a metal show. The people beside me would actually go, "Could you please not do that? It's disturbing our performance." Like, really? Right? And they're younger than me. Like that. I know I'm like a kid at heart, but you should not be 20 years old and telling me that I need to tone it down. Because if I'm outdoing you,
as long as I didn't hurt you,
yeah, exactly.
Then chill your shit.
Yeah, exactly. I just like, shut up. Like, literally just shut up. Yeah, so that's so. Yeah, so there's so my first metal show, dress shirt, and like khaki pants. I was fighting 400-pound dudes for about an hour. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. People don't get it. It's because one. I mean, I've always my day job was very physical. I would lift thousands of pounds in a day. So I mean, I don't look it, but I'm pretty strong. But so I actually did enjoy the back and forth because it's interesting trying to maneuver against guys that just won't move. Right? It's just one of those. It's actually interesting, but it's also really funny. You last long enough, they respect you. It actually gets a lot.
Yeah, they do.
It gets easier. It's like I proved my cred by actually banging with you all. So.
I remember being, I think I was probably 17 or 18 at the time, and we had driven into Toronto, taken the bus and stuff into Toronto, and we were seeing, who was there? It was oh my gosh, Primus and the Alcoholics, which later on became a wing of Wu-Tang Clan, and then it was one of those weird shows, right? And then who the fuck is it? Blink-182, but it was with their first drummer, so it was way back when.
Oh, I knew about you.
It was before Travis. It was during Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
And so we're there, and we had a short little buddy. He was probably about 5'5", 5'4", and he went out there, and we all just kind of hit the pit, and we're having a good old time. And I see him. He's ahead of me, and he's really, like, he's just getting banged around, and the poor guy can't do anything, and he's not able to fight. And I love the way he tells the story, because he's like, "Man, I remember I'm getting knocked around. I can't see anything, and I'm more anxious than enjoying anything because I can't really hear anything because I'm so fearful." And he said, "All of a sudden, I feel air around me, and nobody's touching me anymore. And I kind of start to move around and bounce off people, and I'm like, ooh, I can move. What the hell's going on?" And he looks, and there I am behind him with my arms out like this, and I'm holding back the crowd with my arms. And he just started this little pit inside of my arms, and he had a blast.
because you're like I mean I can tell you're a tank, and that's good, right? I mean in that environment, you guys are great because although I don't like going against you guys because I'm going to lose.
Oh,
yeah, right.
I'm a teddy bear tank. I'm just there to make sure everyone has a good time.
Most of you legitimately are, but here's the thing, right? Especially if you got a girl with you, your girl with you, you're going to protect the girl. That's how it is. If you know this going in, it's like, okay, you're going to do what you have to do, and it's like, and you're basically like, no hard feelings, and I'm like, same here. And that's pretty much it, right? right. And then when it's over, it's over. But I mean, it's a battle. But you're doing like that's the thing. Like you guys are the best protectors in the pit. But you're also, like I said, but when you are protecting somebody, oh god,
we'll put you down. Yeah.
No, that's just the way it is.
It's funny because I have me and another buddy were both tanks in the pit, and we found ourselves. At one point, we started to become like cops.
Yeah.
There was this one guy who started swinging his elbows up way high.
Oh, dirty.
And so dirty. I was about to say something, and my buddy comes from the side and he goes, "Drop the elbows or we drop you." And the guy's like, "What?" And he goes, "You heard me. I won't say it again." No more elbows by that dude.
There's only elbows. Like forearms are fine because you're not hurting anybody with your forearms.
Forearms are fine because you gotta push people away. Forearms are fine.
Elbow. One guy got me in the kidney. I turned around. I looked at him. So you do that again, I drop you.
Yeah.
Yep. You do that again, I drop you. Don't ever.
No elbows.
Yeah, no elbows. Right. Yeah. I mean, the only time it's even remotely acceptable is if you're the front guy, you're going back, right? And even then, if they're low. Right, they're generally low because you're not. Again, metal shows are really cool. Again, we were talking about code of metal conduct.
You realize we're 42 minutes into this. No one knows what I do. No one knows what you do. Like we're just having a blast.
But are you having fun?
Oh fuck yeah, I am. I'm not, dude. This is a great way to hang out on a Saturday night. We're good.
That's the whole thing. Like this is the whole thing. Like this is about. This is how I do my show. Like, we'll just go over the show. Right?
I've been on your show. I know what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like, it's funny that we're going here, but it's just like, it's one of those things, like, metal is the only show you can go to. You can get all your hostility out on the stage in a healthy way. It's the closest thing to playing, like, a sport, right? Because there's these unofficial rules that everybody knows going into them. Right, and when you come out, man, it's like, okay, I'm not as young as I used to be. I come out, I'm like, man, I'm fucking sorry. I got hit pretty good, but I'm like, at the same time, right? At the same time, though, you're like, but I still had a blast. It's like, right? That's it. I mean, because you get it all out. You're not hurting anybody seriously. It's just that natural aggressive tendency. I miss that. That's actually the one thing I miss about this time. That anything else, I miss those shows.
Catharsis.
Yes.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Yeah, we should probably talk about what you do at some point.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that too. But this has been fun. Let's just say that. Let's just say that.
I think I surprised you. Like, wait, you're a metalhead, dude? I'm half German. I mean, there's a little
then that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm half German. I'm half German. I'm Maltese and German. So I was both the conqueror and the conquered, depending on how you look at it. And I'm being blunt. I mean, Malta literally is, because of where it is on the map, has been invaded by everybody: Rome, Greece, Germans, British, right? And any Arab cultures that have wanted to come in, like Crusades. Anybody that has wanted to come and take over that section of the world has gone through Malta. So one side of my family, and we were always outnumbered. Like, let's be perfectly blunt here. We're an island.
Of course you were.
Yeah. We're an island in the middle of nowhere that's strategically very important. Guess what? We're getting taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it works. And then on the other hand, I have my other descendants. They were mad. They were Vikings. We kicked the shit out of the Romans, right? And we took the skulls of our enemies to impress the women we love. I mean, that was
beautiful.
Yeah,
that's just beautiful. That's romance right there.
Yeah, totally. Hey, listen, look. I learned this as I got older. You have to look. You a wise man is a little afraid of his girlfriend, a little bit afraid of his girlfriend, because they do sleep with you, and that means they can kill you, and so there is that part of it. But also, a wise man also realizes a little fear on the other side is good too. Not like imposing, breaking boundaries, but it's like, I did this for you, and it's like, holy shit, they did this for me. Scary and Frenchie on at the same time.
I've been with my wife for 21 years. We've been married for 21 years, and I've said it several times, but I've told her, I said, I would kill for you, and I'm so glad you've never asked me to do that. Because no, straight up, dude, like, she commands. You know what? It's funny. I was talking with my kid recently, and they were like, Mom sleeps or speaks in her sleep a little bit, right? And I was like, yeah, she does that. And I'm like, have you ever fucked with her? You know, like, never. No, I mean, come on, like, you know, she's talking her to sleep, and you start like saying stuff to her, and never. Why not? You screw with everyone. Not with that woman, I don't. And they're like, what? Why not? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, I respect that woman more than anyone else on the planet. She is the one person I'm not interested in manipulating. I'm not interested. Like, I'll fuck with her a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's my queen, and that's something I don't fuck with, and I don't. And it's funny because with most things, I either don't have a line or I know where the line is, and I'm gonna walk right up to it and walk just over it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you say the line's here because I think it's over there.
Yeah, no, you're not going to do it. Like, you're
but not with her.
No, because you know better. Because that one again, she's right there, right? You take that trust away, she might kill you, and really, there's not a damn thing you can do about it. That's it.
No, and the funny thing is that she doesn't even know that I've never done that. Like, we did finally have the conversation because I did tell her that came up, but she wouldn't know. I could totally fuck with her. I would know. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Trust is such a hard thing to work towards. Like, I mean, career, relationship, it doesn't matter. Trust is one of the hardest things to get in the world. You're not, you know, something like that, you don't screw with that.
It's funny that you brought that up. Now, this is when I start to bring it back towards Belial. And it's because my partner on Belial, we're co-creators, and he has a full-time job. He's a single dad. He doesn't have the time to push the campaign like I do. And so I told him our numbers. I told him where we were, you know, where I was aiming for and what I was going to do. And he's like, I don't have the confidence that you do. And I said, you got to trust me, dude. I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. Like, we're going to get there. And he was like, okay, you know, like, because I mean, in the last campaign, literally we made $3,072. We had 132 backers. And I came out saying, we're going to hit 5K. So effectively, somehow we're going to make $2,000 more dollars. And we're going to hit 200 backers. So I'm suddenly going to pick up like 70 more people. Because.
I believe it.
And he was like, you know, I'm having a hard time with that. And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. And we had a high goal because this, making the book, we not only wanted to make this book, but we also needed to be able to jump straight into the next one. So we had our goal was 3,900. So at the end of the day, he just wanted to make the goal. As long as we could do that, cool. And I was like, no, I'm not I won't be happy there. I'll be content when we make our goal. I'll be happy when we make my goal. And so in day one, we made $2,000, and he went, I trust you. Do what you got to do. I was like, really? And he goes, no. He said, you brought us above 50. You know, we jumped above 50% in day one. Do what you got to do. I got you. And sometimes when we're trying to earn trust, you gotta take a hit, and you gotta show why you have that confidence, why you say the shit that you say. And so every once in a while, you just have to put your balls on the table and just be like, this is what I've been saying all along. I wasn't fucking with you. And unless you can do that, you're going to have a hard time earning that trust. You know?
Well, okay, so I'm going to ask a very interesting question about your partner. And this, I think this is for you to think about too. Did he fear failure or did he fear success?
No, I don't believe he's afraid of success at all. So we took a hit on the first one, and I mean, he'll be the first one to tell you that there was a certain amount of Kickstarter PTSD that he had.
Okay.
And because at the end of the day, we made a goal, but we still ended up being in the negative because we didn't understand international shipping and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up getting hit in a rough way. And so that's why when we looked at the campaign early on, we needed deeper digital goals and all that kind of stuff to make sure that the people overseas, we were gonna charge them a fair amount. You know, I think it's like $25 we're gonna charge to ship you something. So for a $5 book or an $8 book, that's a lot to ask. So
no, fairness, that is a lot. That is a lot to ask.
Yeah, I get that, but honestly, we couldn't afford to take the loss.
No.
So we did that and we did what we could, but I understood that he did, and we worked around that PTSD as much as possible. And of course, I have my own issues too. The difference is I don't show them. You know what I mean? Like I've just people will say, "Oh, you're very positive." Yeah, I exude positivity, but that doesn't mean I am positive.
Did you read my positivity post on my Facebook page?
I probably did.
The one where I talk about acknowledging the crap.
Yes.
I think that's probably the best way to look at positivity. It's not like it was just like I looked at that. It's like I was told by some of my friends that I'm a very idealistic person. It's like no, I'm not a very idealistic person. I look at the positive and the negative very, very, very seriously. I just don't dwell in the negative, which which is the big difference. I look at because I see it like this. I have a problem, right? I want to get to this space, wherever that magical space is. I want to get there.
No.
How do I get there? Well, if I don't look at the negative, I'm not going to see the problems that come my way. Now, I'm not going to see everything because you don't see everything, but you do the best you can to go, okay, what could possibly get in the way here? What could I in this structure? Where are the logistical problems I need to deal with? But also, how can I get in the way of my own shit? Right? How can I get in the way? What could stop me from succeeding? And more often than not, and when I look at it, I put that myself through that own gut check, I succeed more than I shouldn't do that. I put myself in better chances to succeed.
Yeah, you're hedging your bets.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
and what a lot of people don't understand about that and about us, because you and I would say are very similar in that regard, is that we say, we believe we can do this. And they go, so you think you're just going to sit around and do this? Oh, no, motherfucker, I didn't say that. I'm going to work my fucking ass off, and I'm going to get there. So I have worked my fucking ass. I've done multiple. I had no shows today. I didn't have to do any shows today. I got some editing done. Today could have been a chill day. I ended up doing 2 more shows because someone contacted me the first time and said, hey, man, do you want to redo this show? I'd love to get it on and make it happen. Cool. Got to keep pushing. Let's do it. You said, man, I lost one of my shows, one of my guests. Anyone want to do it? Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm willing to work. I have a number I want to hit, and I won't stop until I've hit it. And even when I've hit it, I'll probably keep pushing a little bit further because I want to know what's the goal next time. What's number 3 going to look like?
All right. Do you want to know what I think number 3 is going to look like? I have a guess already in my head.
I'm interested.
10,000.
Oh, I would love to. 5 digits would be intense. Right now, I'm still in my own shit. Right now, and obviously, like number 3 is not even started yet.
No, I got you.
It would be like I would be like, I want to push for 7,500. You know what I mean? Like I want to, but 10K. If I'm feeling it, I'll push for it. You know what I mean?
No, that's the goal. Because here's like the goal is the living. So I think of it like this, right? You could probably do with your, let's say, you're on every project, not just yours, every project. But let's just say for the sake of argument, for the sake of argument, for your projects, for you to make, say, we'll say 50 grand a year. Okay, think about that. And this is just the math in my head.
Yeah.
That is ideally for you 4 or 5 projects a year that you can put your absolute best stuff into. Your absolute best. You know, you can deliver to your consumer, your customer. It's regular enough that people are willing to give it. Now, maybe let's say 6. We'll say 6 is the number you want to go for. It's consistent. You have a consistent role at that point. The machine's moving. It's people will wait for you. People will believe in you. It's not so far away that anyone's going, well, where the hell's the next book? But it's like, it's okay. It's done. You did it. You're right. 6. It's 10 grand a book. Let's say it's just 10 grand a book. Okay, even divided 2 ways or 3 ways, who knows? That's a decent chunk of change. That's a right. Just doing what you love to do.
Yep.
Right. And as you succeed more and more and more, your audience will grow more and more and more because your book is awesome and made of cheese or something to that effect anyway. And so your numbers will get higher eventually. And because you have a track record of excellence up until this point, right? You will earn the backing of that. So, I mean, and even if you overswing sometimes, like, look, my first campaign, I already know this. My goal is going to be 2 grand. That's my goal for the first one. Right?
Solid goal.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you're doing, but that's a solid first outing goal. Yes.
First novel of a new series, parallel universe, dragon slaying. So basically, it's going to be fun.
That's our goal. That's what we did too. So yeah, I totally feel you.
Yeah, 2 grand. It might not work. I don't know. Like it might not. But here's the thing. I look at it like no matter if it succeeds or it fails, right? I'm going to put out the very best thing I possibly can, and I'm going to learn from that experience. Whether it's success or failure, the next time around, the goal is going to be bigger, right? Because no matter what, because sometimes, this is again, going back to something I said earlier, sometimes the price you command actually loses respect. So sometimes you actually got to go higher. It's a weird world we live in.
Yeah.
It's a weird world we live in, that the price actually has to be higher for people to respect you. But that is the world we live in. So
I've seen Kickstarters where they're asking for $50, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you even doing a Kickstarter?
Yeah, go do Indiegogo, dude. Like if you're gonna
just fucking sell it. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're not, I don't know. I guess there's part of me that, and I don't want to knock everybody who's got those low goals. But if you have a ridiculously low goal, sometimes it's just like, what are you doing? And Russell Nolte, he did one. I think it was a $1 goal. And at first I'm like, why are you doing a $1 goal? And he was like, because I want to get to 1,000,000%. And I was like, oh, that's hilarious. He wanted to make 10 grand so he could have a project that hit 1,000,000% funded. And I was like, that's amazing. I think that's hilarious. Okay.
But again, that's Russell's own goal. And also the thing is, but here's the thing about Russell though. Russell has a credibility and track record. He didn't do that as his first project. He never would have dreamed of doing that as his first project. No. Would he do that as an April Fool's joke? Yeah, he would. That is, right? But again, I've done like these interviews for such a long time, and one of the things I've learned about artists in general, they sell themselves short. And it's not just small names, it's big names. You're like, holy shit, look at who you are. Yep. Right? And I'm reminded, like, I have 8 rules to success. The 5th rule is the one that I think about, especially when I start seeing success. Get out of your fucking way. You're worth it. You really, really are. Just go do it. Just don't, give yourself permission not just to fail, but to succeed. You never know where that will lead you.
Yep.
That's why I was asking your partner for your success. Because I find
totally. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yes, because it's one of those things where it's like sometimes the expectations of success screw with people's heads. But that's not what I can get why that didn't happen. So I guess your first Kickstarter didn't do well, or didn't hit your goal?
Well, so we did hit our goal, but it was very barely, and it was like in the last 2 days, and we were lucky. We had one friend who came in for a good amount of money, and if they hadn't have come in, we probably wouldn't have succeeded. So it you don't consider it a big success. And then even when we did succeed and we got it out there again, we took a hit because it ended up costing a lot more for shipping and stuff. So we actually lost money on that. And then we got it out there. And I love that book, by the way. I've read Belial 1 on my own several times, and I always have a blast with it. And so I read it, and go ahead, kiddo. I read it, and I'm like, I'm very happy with this. It's a good, solid book. And all right, come on by, kid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we sent it out, and nothing. I didn't hear anything from anyone. And then slowly people are like, "Oh man, I liked it. It was really good." And you're like, "Okay, but where's everybody else? Like, why we sent out 132 books? Where is everyone? Why am I not hearing anything?" And then after a while, people start coming in. And it's because with Kickstarter, they get the rewards, they throw it on the pile, and then eventually they get to it. But meanwhile, you're like, I sent those out months ago. Why are they not coming in? So there was also this mental thing in our heads where it was like, was this well received? Were people having to gather themselves and be like, "Oh yeah, it was good, you did great"? And so eventually we started showing it to new people, and I kind of met a new crowd of comic fans, and they were like, "Dude, this is really great. We really like this a lot. We're really excited about the next one." And I was like, "Okay, cool. This is genuine because you don't know me. You don't have to say anything." So that kind of helped bring the confidence back, as well as working on 2 and really being happy with how 2 was coming along. And so as that happened, we started to find our audience more. We started to realize, even in writing it and creating it, like, hey, we're a hell book. Why are we not a little ruder? Why are we not a little raunchier? Why are we not playing with some of the sexy stuff and doing all that kind of shit? And so I think with this one, we found our audience a lot more. One of the funny things I love looking at the stats, the dashboard in the Kickstarter, because you see all the graphs and stuff in the background. And one of the things that I always look at is, which tiers have you gotten the most money from and the most backers from? And for us, the biggest tier is our catch-up tier, where everybody wanted to come in and get issues 1 and 2. And I'm like, that's the shit right there. That's the one that needed to be number 1, and that's awesome. So, yeah, I'm feeling confident now. It's back.
So here's me. I released 2 books this year: Alice Zero and The Cloud Diver. They're book 1.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Okay.
Well, right now I know I haven't heard too much back yet. When I released Cloud Diver level 2 with the Killer Cupcake, and I released Alice 1, which is going to be the most amazing game of croquet ever conceived in the labyrinth ever. Right? Croquet in the labyrinth is going to be hilarious. So,
croquet in a labyrinth? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
Here's why: because Alice is chasing the Queen of Hearts in the Greek Minoan labyrinth.
That's
Alice
nice.
is Pandora. She's chasing the Queen because the Queen imprisoned her in a insane asylum, and now she's escaped. So now she's in this labyrinth. It's going to have golden threads in there, which is going to lead to a certain Greek hero. I'm not going to name names. If you know the stories, you know the stories. If you don't, you don't, right? But it's croquet. And the thing is, it's when Alice makes a move, she's going to have, I'm actually looking for famous Greek birds that aren't phoenixes, right? That basically, because I'm looking at, because they're going to be the croquet sticks.
Instead of like the flamingos, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, right. So they're gonna be the croquet sticks. She hits the ball, and wherever the ball goes, it's actually when they go to the labyrinth. Like the rule is, whoever gets into the middle, right, gets to the queen. Because actually, one of the things I remember, once upon a time, I don't know if it's true or not, it's to the queen. So her opponent. Actually, I'll just give it away. Her opponent is Jason.
Jason.
The hero, Greek hero, Jason.
Oh, Jason. Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
The Greek hero, Jason, is taking on Alice in a game of croquet.
It's funny. I had it in my head that it was Theseus, but you're totally right. It was Jason.
Yeah, it's Jason. Yes. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun little. It's good. It's gonna be a little reminiscent of the board game in my head for this series. But it's like I also know this: when Alice 1 comes out, Alice 0 will go up. When Cloud Diver level 2, goes because we're a backless business, man. That's what we are. I mean, our front books do well, but it's not our front books that make us our money. It's our backlist, right?
Sorry, I really needed a drink.
That's okay. You're part of the Dr. Pepper Club. I forgive you.
No, I hate Dr. Pepper. My wife loves it. I just needed a drink really bad. Fair enough. I killed my coffee, and I'm like, oh, I'm so dry now. Shit.
Sorry.
I'm willing to take on the terrible flavor of Dr. Pepper. Oh, I threw that at the dog. Yeah. Sorry. Our dog loves to cuddle beside you underneath the blankets, and so I threw the bottle to my wife, and she starts petting the blanket, and I'm like, what the? Oh, the dog was under there. Fuck.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's cool.
Feel better.
Yeah, but like I said, backlists are your business, and as you do more projects, your backlists are going to get doing better and better and better and better. That's how this game works. It's not. Your first books are soul crushing because you don't know if anyone's reading them or are going to care. But it's not your first books. It's your fifth, your sixth. Your like that's the one you're going to see. Like all this work I've done has paid off. That's the writing.
Yeah. We're finding that with Essence House. The great thing about Essence House has been because it's the audio drama and we're able to release an episode every 2 weeks. You get that satisfaction of getting further in that story quicker, and so being able to see that build and have people come in and being able to tell them we have hours. I think it's like 5 or something hours of entertainment for you to enjoy because we just dropped episode 17. And so there's so much, and each episode is right around 20 minutes.
Oh, and so spot time. That's a really good sweet spot time.
Yeah. We were very specific on that 20 minutes because that's your average drive to work. Yes. So we were like, we love the idea that someone could pop it in, drive to work or drive home from work and listen to it and just kind of zone out and enjoy it and not have to take up any extra time of their day. This was already a plot of time they were not going to be able to do a lot with. Why not do this? And so that was very specifically chosen. And man, being able to do that and see that grow and now have the novel come out and people are getting excited about the novel. Of course, we don't have a novel crowd. We're both comic guys. So trying to move into the novel crowd has been strange for us because we don't fully know where to go or how to hit people.
It's weird because the novel crowd's not as established. In one sense, you're almost on new ground because right on one because it's and I've noticed this too. Like the novel crowd, I decided to approach my writing career like if I was a pro wrestler. I know it sounds like a really dumb concept, but
no, it's such a comic thing. I see so many comic guys who feel the same way.
Yeah, but I mean that's because it's the truth, right? Because this is about promotion. That's what we're doing. It's about promotion. The one advantage that I talk to a lot of novelists. A lot of novelists don't know how to be excited about their own stuff. They don't know how, and that is what holds them back because they should be the most. Look, Monster Man Randy Savage made more money than just about anybody else on the planet because he was such a character on screen. The thing about that was, a lot of people forget about that. Yeah, he looked colorful. Yes, he was silly. Yes, he was outrageous. But he believed it. That was why it worked. It wasn't what he did. It was the fact that he believed in what he did, right?
And he was truly entertaining.
Yeah,
he knew what he was and what he was doing, and he played into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and you have to have that understanding of who you are and who you're not, but also you have to believe it because if you don't, if you feel like a half-conscious idiot, that's what you're going to come across as.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, right, and that's a really I think novelists. I think going into the okay, so we're in what the new normal. We're going the next normal because there's going to be a next normal after
the next normal. Yeah, that's where we're headed.
Yeah. What the next normal is, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much the brick and mortar presence is going to matter. And that's a hard one to gauge because I don't see Barnes and Noble being a big thing. Oh, not Barnes and Noble. Yeah, it's Barnes and Noble down there.
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble. I don't see it coming back to as big as it was. So if you're a novelist and if you're looking at it from a publishing standpoint, the traditional publishing marketplace is going to evolve. Well, if that's the case, well, what's it going to evolve into? So right now, if you're a novelist, if you're like me, just gone through their own independent career, I think more importantly than anything else right now is to establish your presence in whatever it is you're doing, because even if you don't know how it's going to tie into the next normal, right? The fact of the matter is, the fact that you have that presence means you're going to already draw a certain conglomerate in, and as you try to break into the other one, people are going to know who you are already. And that's huge. I don't think people realize how important that is right now.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like we're coming from a society that felt like this is your lane, get in your lane and be the best at that lane. And we're discovering, oh no, motherfucker, that's not this world anymore. No. This world is a multi-lane highway. Oh, by the way, we also have flying cars and we can go underground. There's so many different directions to go in.
Yeah.
And doing one of those isn't enough. You need to be able to jump levels and be all over the place and do all sorts of things. That's why, a guy came to me recently and he's like, I make my own books and I don't put them on Kickstarter, and he was very kind of proud of that. And I was like, dude, I don't think that's a great idea. And he's like, well, I'm able to do it on my own. I'm like, that's not the fucking point. Get over your fucking pride bullshit. It's not about I can do it on my own. Good for you. That's fantastic. But there's money on the table. Kickstarter is money on the table. It's the biggest, one of the biggest publishers of comics in the fucking world. There's 300 comics on there. Yeah.
Number 2.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There was 3 just earlier this month, late last month. There was over 300 comics on Kickstarter, which is almost a 200% growth from the year before. And that's because people are seeing this shit is happening. And despite the fact that we're doing that and there's that many people on there, they're still making record money because people are still doing really well. There's no reason why we should have done as well as we did, because there's so much more competition than the last time we did. But it's because we're trying to hit all the levels. We're trying to, be seen everywhere we can. We're recognizing what the landscape is looking like. And so if you just hone in and you go, I'm only going to do conventions, it's like, dude, I hope that works for you, but conventions, comic stores, Kickstarter, like all of that shit, they're all there for a reason. Tap as many of those as you can.
Well, yeah, but look, if Kickstarter's your thing and that's where you're making your most money, if you're making a killing thing, by all means, you know what? Focus on what gets you to where you're at. But again, I'm looking at it like this, like for me, okay, I'm turning the podcast into a talk show. Why? I can interview very well. But 2, I'm looking at Twitch. I'm looking at YouTube. That's money on the table. Yeah, I can do it. And the fact of the matter is, again, I believe I can do it very well. And in fact, and I know this, there's no writing show like mine, right? I know this already.
I've never done a show like yours. I've never sat around and talked about Canadian towns for half a fucking hour with a dude and still kept an audience. So no, I think you're doing great.
Yeah. Because it's real, right? And so that's right. It's real. No one does what I do. So why not? I stand out. If I get there first, guess what? I'm always going to be there. Right?
Well, and that's a point that people always forget. I've heard so many guys go, "Ooh, so vampire books are really big right now. I should make a vampire book, right?" No, you already missed that train. What do you mean? That's the trend. Yeah, and you're on the ass end of it because you haven't even made this thing yet. You have to make the trend or see it coming. You have to see, this thing is happening in the future. Okay, I got to make sure that I fall right around or right after that. that's where the trend hits and moves forward. If you've already seen it hit and you already know that it's happening, you're too fucking late, man.
Yes.
So you're doing exactly that. You're going, cool. So like we made a hell book. Hell books, there's no hell book trend happening right now. But that's why. There's no hell book trend happening. I'm not waiting around with all these other hell books. And while being a hell book, we're also a hell comedy. Again, even more niche. We're doing our very own thing, and we're kind of opening up a plot of land and saying, this is where we are. Nobody is doing what we're doing right now. And if you fucking like this, here's your new trend. Like, this is what's going on right now. And you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't work out where you become the trend, you're still going to have your niche, whatever that niche is. And they'll always find you. That's how it works. Right?
Because there's nothing like that.
Yes.
Whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to ask 2 more questions. Then I think we can call this an interview. Because I we go all night, but I think the 2 questions seems perfect. For number 1, what heavy metal inspired Belial? Because you had to have a playlist for this.
Okay, so if you look at Belial's shirt, it says, if you're 555, then I'm 666, which is Slipknot's Heretic Anthem.
Okay. So
that was one. There's also an awful lot of Tool inspiration. There's a deep undercurrent in Belial, which is kind of funny because it is a comedy, but there's also kind of a seriousness that plays underneath it. And there's these moments where you go, oh shit, this isn't just funny. They're still telling a story, and there's this segment of this is real to them. And so there's definitely a playfulness and a darkness, but also some seriousness there. So those are the 2 bands I would say that kind of laid it out the most for us on this one.
I see. Okay, to be honest, I've always been more of a Perfect Circle fan than a Tool fan, although I think Tool does incredibly smart music, right? I always thought Perfect Circle was a little bit more, just felt a little bit more.
I get where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I like Tool is because Tool is Tool.
Mm-hmm.
Tool is these 4 guys doing this, and they don't matter. The band matters above everything else.
Okay.
So people might say, oh, this is Chuck's book, this is Sean's book, this is Belial. Belial is its thing. Belial has its own feel and its own, when I'm talking about Belial and we're doing Belial, there's this certain tongue-in-cheek asshole that steps out in me because that's Belial. That is the nature of that book. And so that book ends up speaking through me. And so I think that's what I kind of take from Tool, is that there's a Tool reality, a Tool feel. And so for Belial, it's the same way. When I'm doing Belial, I've even done interviews before, and somebody switches things and they ask me about Essence House, and I'm like, just a sec, I just got to change gears real quick, because I was about to give you a Belial answer, and that doesn't work for that.
Fair enough. No, it's interesting. Yeah, I like for me, Tool is like the ultimate in like smart music, because they do some really cool. Schism is one of the smartest songs I've ever listened to.
It's a beautiful one, right?
Yeah, it's one of the smartest songs I've ever listened to. It's just put together so ingeniously, right? But again, just preference. I just think. Yeah, counting sheep to the rhythm of the war drums.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's such a good. And it doesn't matter which version you listen to, but whoa, yeah.
Yeah, no, that one's like very appropriate, I think. I'm not going to go politics tonight, because really I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to talk politics for like the next 20 years.
No, but you're 100% right. Yeah. And actually, now I'm probably going to end this and go listen to that, because yes, such an appropriate song.
We got before we wrap up. We promised to do this before we did this, which was Rivers in the Desert. So you enjoyed that boss music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love. Yes, we will. Yeah. I love that. That was really good.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, just as a wrap up. So I was introducing my friend here, Chuck, to some Japanese rock and roll. I chose my anthem for the last 2 years, Rivers in the Desert, which is the Persona 5 final boss soundtrack, right? For the main, like it's basically the climax, and it's also the secret boss music in the game. And
I'm listening to you. I'm looking up a lyric because I need to find my mantra, which is so. Yeah. Keep going. Keep explaining.
So I have decided that I would create my river in the desert. That was my decision when I quit my job. I decided, like, no, I'm no longer interested in working for people on a full-time basis. I'll temp here and there if I have to, but I'm about building my whatever's next for me. That's all I care about. So Rivers in the Desert has been the song. It's like, it's now, it's never, and I got to make my decision. So that's why when you see it's now, it's never, it's literally a reference to the song. Like every time you see that on my things, that's what this comes down to. It's like it's make a decision, you go for it, you fight what you got to fight, you do what you got to do, and sometimes, that river forms.
I like that. I like that a lot. And when I got into comics, this was probably back like 2017. So when I finally started to like break in, I started editing and all that kind of stuff. I refound this song. This was one from my youth that I enjoyed a lot. It's Skid Row's "Slave to the Grind."
Okay.
And the lyrics are, "The noose gets tighter around my throat, but I ain't at the end of my rope, because I won't be the one left behind. Can't be king of the world if you're slave to the grind."
Yes.
And so to me, at that point, I was like, I work for other people, but this is very temporary.
Yes.
This is, and I only did it for another 2 years. And then I was like, cool, fuck it. And now I'm doing my thing. Luckily, I have a wife who has a better job than me. But the one thing I can say, which I think is great, is my comics career does not affect our bottom line in any negative way. It pays for itself. I'm still able to make comics because of editing and all the other work that I do. That's so right. I'm able to walk away from that and not affect us in a negative way because I'm now making a positive move.
And Chuck has sent me some great books to review for my column at firstcomicsnews.com. Every once in a while, he has done that. His name is usually on them in some way. He is literally the Waldo of Comics. He does all kinds of amazing things.
I love that you call me that. I love that.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's like,
I love it.
I look at the credits on Independent. I'm like, where's Chuck? There he is.
You know what's great?
Yeah.
How many other books do you look at the editor for? Like, no one looks at editors, but I like to believe that I'm reminding people that editors are important. It's very important to me to have an editor and to be an editor. It's very I take it as an important thing, and I find that a lot of editors don't give themselves enough credit for what we can help bring to a project and for what we do. And so it's been very important to me to educate people and remind people and hopefully make them look and go, who edited this? And I'm finding that more and more people are going, oh shit, Chuck edited this. And it's like, yeah, because I'm reminding you that's an important piece.
I realized how big you quietly have become. Mog, right? I got introduced to her through another mutual friend of ours, but it was just like I introduced to her, and I look at the very first thing she shows me, and your name's on. It's like, holy shit, he's everywhere. Right? And I mean, and I was like, that's so, like, because it truly is a small world in the end. The industry is truly a small world, and no, editors are super important because their job is to make sure the vision's truth. It is as form as possible, whatever that vision is. And if they do it, if they do their job, it does seem seamless. But that's a lot of work, a lot of sweat and tears. Sometimes some alcohol. Sometimes depending on the.
Sometimes you're right. Sometimes some arguing.
Arguing can be, but arguing's not necessarily unhealthy. It depends on like.
Oh no, I agree. I have a marriage that relies on argument now and then. Absolutely.
No, it's healthy because if they didn't give it like, I want to be coachable to my editor, but I'm gonna fight for some stuff because
you got to.
Yeah, you got to.
It's about both of us. So let's say you and I are working on a book together. It's about both of us being passionate, but both of us also listening to the other one and saying, okay, I hear what you're saying, but this is why I feel this way. And so either we have to come to a compromise or we have to realize, and at the end of the day, if you're the creator, you're paying me. Like, so.
No. That is the ultimate time of, but basically, you're there to go. Listen, your shit stinks. Like that's that's part of your job. Listen, your shit, it smells. This is why. So this is and then I have this solution, and then I'll go to you sometimes. Well, this is where I'm going. I don't think this works, and you'll think about it for a second. And you'll be like, okay, you're right. I see why you're doing it this way. Have you thought of this? And then we go through it. It's like, okay, that doesn't quite work, but I see where you're coming from. How about this? And it's like, and that's the best relationships. Right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. That's the best relationship because obviously the creator of any book, your vision is the ultimate rule. It should be. But the editor's job is it sounds really simple. Hey, your shit, it stinks. And here's why. Right? Right? And that's it. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Right? So Chuck is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Like he literally is. Look at the credits in your comics. He's everywhere. But he's also, honest to God, man, happy for your success. I'm very, very happy that you're able to do this.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think it's shameless promo time. Are you ready to do shameless promo time?
I'm always ready for shameless promo.
Okay, that's right. So you got a Kickstarter coming. Okay, this is airing now, so you got a Kickstarter coming up. So tell people where you can find your stuff that way. If you got anything that just came out, you should mention that after. And finally, and then finally, how can people find you?
Okay, cool. So I have a bunch of projects actually on Kickstarter right now. So I'm gonna go from, I'll go in the way I decide.
Do it your way. This
right.
I'm here.
First off, I would love for you guys to go check out The Crusade of Dracula. Joseph Dewis is on Kickstarter right now. He's doing a really good job. I love him. He does historical horror on a fucking level that I don't even understand. Like his research and everything is ridiculous. He has this take on Dracula, which is amazing because he has done all of the research on Vlad Tepes, Dracula III. Yes, that's right. Before I edited this book, I didn't know what that dude's name was, but I know that he's from the 15th century. I know that he hates the Ottoman Empire. I know all this stuff, and that's because I read this, and he had this really cool way of making that history pop and be interesting and really fuel this amazing narrative. So I edited that. I love what Joseph does. I would love for you guys to go check that out. I have a book that I got a piece of. It's called Cthulhu Invades Oz. And it's fucking cool. I'm editing it, but I also got to write in it. And every chance I get to write, I'm excited by. And my boy Travis Gibb came to me and he said, dude, I've got this idea. Cthulhu Invades Oz. It's two really big things that we get to mash together and have some fun with. And it was just so exciting and so interesting. I had to do it. And the more I thought about it, the more my idea coalesced. And I'm so proud of what my team has done and what we've done. And what's crazy about this is whenever you get an anthology, it's like, first off, whenever you get an anthology, you go, which one's the shitty story? I just want to make sure it's not me. But you look through and there's really not any shitty stories in there. And what's really neat about this is that usually they're just random ass fucking tales. Oh, this has Cthulhu and Oz. This has Cthulhu and Oz. No, this is one narrative, one story, and each of us has a moment along that timeline of the invasion, and we focus on one character in that moment. So those characters might pop up in other people's stories, but they had to come to me if they wanted to use the Scarecrow, because they needed to know where I was in the invasion and what he was doing. And I got to be the arbiter of Scarecrow. And if I wanted to talk or use anybody else, I would then have to go to them and say, hey, what's going on with your dude? I wanted to play with him. Okay, cool. So it's a full story, which just makes it a completely different experience. So I'm very proud of that one. We have a big goal. I think we're at We're over 12 grand right now, and we're aiming for, our goal is $20,000. It's a lot of money, but it's doable. I think we still have like 18 days left or something like that. So I think it's still very doable. We can definitely hit it. So proud of that project. And I think the caliber of people on there, by the way. What's that? Yeah. My wife is proofing it right now, and she's like, it's a really good book. I'm like, yeah, it is. I've read it. It's a fantastic book.
Can I say something to your wife real quick?
You want to speak to my wife?
Yeah, just for just a minute.
Yeah, I'll pull out my, here, baby. I'm pulling out my headphones for you. All right. She's listening.
Okay, so I just want to say, Chuck has said you are an amazing woman. He has incredible respect for you, and he loves you very much. And you honestly, you're a big part of his success. And I just want to say, you got a good dude. So I imagine you're really good yourself.
Well, thanks, but he probably feels like he has to say that. So.
I mean, it helped that you were in the room, but no.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
I've learned just before we finish your plugs. I've just learned it's always good to be nice to everybody in the area because you never know. It's just smart.
No, so. I feel you. And you know what? I found, like, going on the road, doing the con circuit, I love meeting the spouses. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is that we couldn't do what we do if those spouses didn't have our backs. And so I know that they already probably feel like they're on the short end of the stick. They've had to deal with a lot of our shit. And so I always love meeting the spouse and, just kind of sweeten them up a little bit. Hey, how are you? They need their time too, because they allow us to have so much of that time because we require it. We're in the spotlight. We're trying to make things happen. We're pushing new boundaries, and they're so amazing to us that it's like, whenever I go out and I meet a spouse, I try to just go, you need to shut the fuck up for a minute. Your wife, she's all that matters right now, and she will get my time, and we will have a good time. And again, it's not about me trying to make a good impression on them. It's me trying to go like, dude, they couldn't be here if it weren't for you, so you get this moment.
People appreciate being appreciated. It's very important.
Yeah. And I want someone to do that for my wife, I guess, too.
Yeah.
So
that was all right. So let's go back to the plugs and wrap this up because I know we could keep going.
I know we could. I'm having a blast with you, dude. So we did those. Now we enter into the big two, Essence House. You can find Essence House on all of your major podcast stations. It's an audio drama. We like to call it a time travel family drama. It's about a family whose ancestral home was destroyed some 25 years ago. And now they realize that in the wreckage, the ruins of that home, lies the secrets to not only their family, but also possibly to saving the world. So there's some really cool stuff going on with that one. Literally, guys, if you're interested in the novel, but you're not sure, you can go and you can listen right now to 17 out of the 20 chapters for free. And you can say, it's not for me. Like, that's how confident we are in this project. We've got it all out there and we don't care. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, okay, but once I've listened to it, what's the difference? First off, a novel and an audio drama can be very different. But also, we were forced into... We had to get a 20-minute episode out every 2 weeks. And so there's a certain amount of writing that you have to do. There's a certain amount of editing and keeping it into a tight box. And so now that we have the access of a novel, we're able to take some scenes and pull them apart and play with them more and add some things. So as much as the main story is the same, there's going to be an awful lot of extra added details. So if you do love what we did, I think you'll get a whole other level of experience out of this because we get to play more in that world and with those characters and such.
All right. That's Essence House. And your big one.
The big boy, Belial. Belial's down to 4 days left. It's the original creator of Hell. He's back, and he's here to take on both Pestilence and Famine so that he can get his powers back from the Horsemen and take on Lucifer so he can reclaim his throne as the original creator of hell.
Awesome. And where can people find you?
You can find me, Chuck Pineau, on Facebook, on Instagram under those names. You can find me on Twitter at Chucky Pin. You can find my Chuck's Raw Reviews, where I talk about independent comic books that I absolutely adored, on YouTube. And then you can find my publishing wing on Facebook, Bonfire Press, or of course you can find specifically my properties, Belial Comic on Facebook, Essence House on Facebook, and I think that's it. So not a lot of places to find me, but one or two.
One or two, just one or two.
One or two, yeah.
So thank you everybody for watching this very, very experimental episode of Just Josh, and this is a hint of things to come. This is a hint of things to come with the show. So if you guys want to like my stuff, check me out on on YouTube. My YouTube channel here is Joshua Pintelresco. Hit the subscribe button if you want for more updates. There are going to be a lot more live chats in the foreseeable future, I promise.
And share it too, people. Don't just like it. Share it with the world, because what he's doing is really cool.
Yes. And there's that. And stay tuned very soon for the official launch of the new talk show. And Chuck, I hope will you going to come back?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally down.
All right. That sounds like a plan. So until then, everybody, stay inspired. Keep doing your thing. And I'll see you guys this Monday with JD Estrada.